This is for Victoria Tuesta. We've been working on Scherzino by Anderson, and what we did today as a warm-up is a mini scale. So that was D, E, F sharp, G, A, with reminders to keep your chin level. Make sure you're blowing across the tone hole and only covering 1 millimeter of this tone hole. Half notes. And then we practiced going up to the 3rd octave with each of those notes. Let's do that again. And then we played the full octave scale. And we worked on making the tone really clear. There was a little bit of hiss in her sound at first, which comes from having an embouchure or an aperture that's too small or too tight, or from rolling in too far. So again, keep the chin level, blow across the tone hole. That way the air gets evenly distributed inside the flute and out. So that was the D major scale. All right, and now I'm going to go over to the music, and we're going to jump to the part we started on today, which is at measure 48. We talked about tonguing with a little more intensity. And I'm going to repeat that a few more times. That F sharp is the most finicky note. It requires a lot of pressure between the lips and a lot of air. We'll do it 2 more times. Okay, then we backed up and we started on the scale leading into that. So this is measure 46. And that's the same scale that we played at the beginning as part of our warm-up, but it starts on the low A and goes all the way to the high D. So you'll notice I'm using C sharp, and of course F sharp, and then the high C sharp. Just a reminder when you play the D major scale that the thumb needs to be on the spatula, not the golf club. Okay, the next thing we did was add the next 5 or 6 measures onto that, which repeats the same tune an octave lower in the middle register. And then we end with a trill from D to E and down to low D. So I'm going to play that whole passage for you, and then we'll go back and talk about some of the little idiosyncrasies. So there are some B flats in those last few measures, and we use the 1 and 1 fingering for those rather than switching to the thumb. That way we can be consistent. So B flat C, D, B flat C natural, D. That happens 3 times. And the last time is when we go into the trill. The trill is from D to E natural. Normally when you play D to E, the fingers have a lot of change. D, E, D, E. For the trill, we're going to simplify that. We're not going to use this pinky. We're just going to wiggle this finger. And we're going to vent this key. So we split the difference between the first finger being up and all the way down. And so just let a little bit of air leak through there, and that way the D and the E get their best sound. After the trill, there are 2 grace notes, C sharp, D, and then we land on the low D. One thing I did not tell you today in your lesson was when you play that C sharp, you don't need to lift all of your fingers. We're going to use an alternate fingering. So the C sharp you'll only lift the fingers in the left hand. And that just minimizes the amount of movement. When you're trying to get down to that low D, it will be much easier. And again, that low D is hard to play if you're not accustomed to being in the low register. So we practiced starting on a G. And we did first just keeping the pinky down. So just add those 3 keys all together to go from G to E flat, and then release the pinky to go to D. And doing that a few times will help you get really good at the low D so that you can do the octave drop from the trill. Okay, so let's go back and put all of that together. So back at measure 46 on the extended D major scale. Okay, and that is everything we covered in our lesson today.